Hello world, Joshua here, and welcome to another video. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel where my passion is helping you take your activism to the next level. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about 6 tips for how to speak with non-vegans. I did a video a few weeks back doing another 6 tips, but this is an important area of discussion here in the vegan movement. People want to know how to efficiently and effectively speak with non-vegans. So my goal here is to answer as many questions that you have. But for this video, we're going to get started. Question number 1. What if they agree with all that you said, but their last excuse is that they are just too lazy to change and are comfortable with their current routine? So this is a great question to start off with because it comes up a lot in my vegan outreach. People are just so set in stone with their current habits, with their current routine. And laziness, sadly, gets brought up as a justification as to why people want to continue to contribute to these industries that are needlessly harming animals. So what I would do in this situation, or what I do in this situation, is I ask people right off the bat, why do you think that veganism is hard? Or what challenges do you have with veganism? Or what is forcing you to be lazy? You know, I ask these questions. I want people to give me all this information so that I can use it with them later in the conversation. You know, most of the time people have already given you all the objections, and usually they'll agree with the fact that it's animal cruelty and they don't want to contribute to these industries, but they're lazy. What it comes down to is they just don't have the willpower. They haven't found the why. So it's your job to connect them to the why. So bring them back to the ethics. Find out what their challenges are with veganism. People are lazy to start a new habit when they don't want to do something, when they haven't connected with the why. When you don't have a workout routine, you are lazy and you don't want to go work out until you find the why, that you want to get in better shape, that you want to be healthier. So help them find the why. Ask really good questions to connect them with the ethical side of animal agriculture so they could see that laziness is not a justification, you know, to continue to contribute to these industries, that they need to step up, find that why, and allow laziness to subside and find that willpower to go out, to create that change, empower them, make them feel motivated and energized to start taking veganism seriously. This is just going to come with a great line of questioning. So like I said, ask them, what are some challenges that you're having with veganism? Or why do you think being vegan is such an effort? Explain to them that veganism is a non-action. Being vegan doesn't mean you have to do anything. It just means you have to eliminate things from your life, and help them understand just how simple being vegan is. Question number 2. I'm bursting inside to do some sort of outreach, but I need help/advice with getting started. Where did you start and what did day 1 look like? Amazing question, because my passion is helping people take their activism to the next level, step out of their comfort zones, build confidence, speak with conviction, speak the truth, and just radiate positivity. So vegan outreach is so important. I think it is a great way to do all of those things. So where did I start? Anonymous for the Voiceless. Well, actually, a step back. I started on Instagram. That's where I found my voice. My advice to you is find your voice, find your narrative, be authentically you, because you have your own voice, I have my own voice, they have their own voice, but no one is you but you. So I started on Instagram writing posts. I had a blog. I started writing longer blog posts, and I just found my voice and how I was comfortable writing. I found that I loved coming from a place of understanding and compassion. I loved positivity, so that's when I found my voice. But getting into actually doing vegan outreach, public vegan outreach, was with Anonymous for the Voiceless, and I just started. I started the chapter of AV in Seattle, but you don't have to just do that. You can go to your local chapter. We're in over 600 cities around the world now, I think. So go to your local AV chapter, get out there, research, watch videos online of other activists doing outreach, research all the common answers to the objections people are giving you. Fill your mind with all of those answers so that you feel like a professional, so that when you step out onto that outreach floor, you know how to handle all of the different conversations, and then just do it. But build that confidence. Don't just go jumping right into outreach if you aren't comfortable yet. It takes time, it takes practice. So get out there and build that muscle of doing outreach. It just gets easier. My first day of outreach, I remember that first conversation. It was really awkward. My voice was shaking. You know, they say speak the truth even if your voice shakes. Well, my voice was shaking. I was like, have you seen this footage before? And I just was stumbling over my words, and I wasn't confident, and I was just lecturing because I didn't know what else to do, until I just ended the conversation, gave them a closing card, and then let them walk away. But it just takes time. So find a local chapter of Anonymous for the Voiceless. Go listen to other activists, shadow activists who are doing it. Look on YouTube, look on different blog posts and websites. Build that confidence, build that courage, and remember that you have a powerful voice to share with the world. The animals need you out there, so just go do it. Practice, practice, practice. Question number 3. What do you say to people who talk about mussels and oysters and some other sea life that are fine to eat because they don't have a central nervous system? So this doesn't get brought up too often in my outreach, but it does happen. So I definitely want to address this. I like to make things as simple as possible. One, I think this is a topic that is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but people are really reaching. This is when I feel that cognitive dissonance is at its finest, is when people go all the way to mussels and oysters to justify why they are continuing to contribute to the industries that are needlessly harming animals. But what I like to tell them is that, hey, at the end of the day, mussels, oysters, and some other sea life that don't have a central nervous system still have a purpose on this planet. And I like to bring up speciesism, and I like to ask them, have they ever heard of what speciesism is, or what it means to be a speciesist, and get their opinions and what they know about that. Then I like to talk to them about exactly what it means to be an anti-speciesist, to value all life as equal. Because who gets to determine that this life is more valuable than that life? It should be no one. They have their own purpose on this planet, the same as dogs and cats do. So I believe we need to respect that for all beings. So I like to have them make that connection. If we don't need to eat these animals or these beings for specific nutrients, then why do it? If we know it's causing an incredible amount of harm to the ecosystem and to these animals, as far as we know. If you wanted to go a little bit more scientific, you can research nerve ganglia. I don't do too much research on the scientific parts of that, but nerve ganglia essentially are clusters of nerves that are going to be evolving into a nervous system. If you know more about that, leave that in the comments below. I would love to get more educated on that. And I believe mussels and oysters, they have an anus. So I don't know about you, but I'm not going to eat any being that has an anus. But bring them back to the ethical connection, make them see that all life is valuable. Question number 4. How do you get through to a person who is relying on religion to justify eating/using animals? So this is probably one of the most asked questions I get on social media, is how do you handle speaking with people who take a very strong religious standpoint? These conversations are very difficult. I don't like to go too far into specific verses from the Bible or what this law says about this or that law says about that. I like to keep things very simple. So what I like to ask them is there anywhere in your religious text that says you have to consume animals? There isn't. This will stump them. There is no religion that says it is mandatory to eat animals. Yes, there are certain religious texts that say you can consume these animals. This is a way you can kill those animals. But there is no religion that says you have to. And if there's no religion that says you have to, then it is a choice that you get to make. This is an intrinsic choice. This is something that now you get to use your moral compass to say, is this right or is this wrong? And I think when you present it like that to people, when you say that, hey, there is no religion that mandates the consumption of eating animals, this means that you have a powerful choice to make. What does your heart say about this? I've seen my conversations with people who take a very religious standpoint go really well after I talk about this, because you can sit and debate different verses in the Bible and, halal and kosher slaughter. But at the end of the day, when someone understands that now it's their choice, their religion isn't saying they have to, their religion says they can, you're going to get a different answer. So that's the way I like to go in regards to talking with someone who's taking that religious standpoint. There are so many different avenues you can take. I like to really steer them back to the ethical side of it and get away from the religion, because someone could sit there, like I said, and debate religion for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you have had those conversations that go on forever. So bring them back to the ethical side, empower them, and let them know that they have this choice to make, that they can dig deep within their heart and say, hey, my religion says I can, but does that mean I have to? And when they realize that they have that choice, they might be able to think a little bit more clearly. They might be able to make that connection. Question number 5. How would you react if someone said, I'm aware of the cruelty involved, but I just don't care? I love this one. I have a little story behind this because this was one of the hardest objections to answer. I never had the answer for this one. So many activists that I spoke with didn't really know how to combat this one. They got pushed up against a wall. I was in Austria a couple months ago giving a workshop. This question got brought up in the Q&A and I didn't know the answer. Her name is Maya, if you're watching, she raised her hand and said, hey, I have a way to answer this. And I was like, please, I want this answer. And I've been saying this story every single workshop that I give because this question gets asked all of the time. And what she told me was, if someone says, I just don't care, you answer with, when did you stop caring? And the whole room just started cheering and clapping, and I get this same reaction in every workshop that I give. I adjusted it a little to say, when did you stop caring about animals? What this does is it puts it on them, and it's a really emotional question to ask them because you are now saying that they stopped caring about something. And they didn't actually stop caring. They're saying they don't care because that's cognitive dissonance. That's their brain trying to say, hey, I don't want to think that I've been doing something wrong, so I'm just going to say I don't care. When really you want to connect, like I said, to their heart. So you want to get them to stop thinking with here and start thinking with here. So when did you stop caring about animals is an amazing question to ask in that situation. Because usually this is end of the conversation. You're throwing out your last bits of combatives, they're giving you their last bit of energy, and the conversation's almost over. So that's why I like to ask this question. When did you stop caring about the animals? When did you lose the compassion for animals? And they're gonna tell you that, well, I didn't actually, I do care about animals. And then that's a powerful thing that they just said. So then you can challenge them and say, well, then what is it you really don't care about? Is there something that you find challenging with being vegan or with going vegan? Do you think that there's something that isn't right about a vegan lifestyle? Then you can ask these probing questions to get them to give you more information, because most of the time they've had companion animals or currently have companion animals and they love them and they have love for other beings. It's not that they don't care, it's they're still trying to make an excuse. They don't want to think that they've been doing something that's immoral. So ask this question, bring them back. Thank you, Maya, for giving me that answer. It has worked wonders for me and a lot of other people on Outreach. And the last question, number 6, if I can find it. When filming outreach videos, do you ask people beforehand if you can get their permission to film? Or do you not need to get bystanders' permission if they're being filmed on public property? So this is a really important question. I get asked it a lot. It depends on where you are in the world. So I know a lot of the places that I've been, it is not illegal to film someone publicly. Some places like Germany, what I think is a new law is that you cannot do that without written approval from someone. I think it's just important to know your laws and to look into that. But I've been filming outreach videos without asking people for their permission. I know a lot of the other activists out that are doing outreach videos are doing the same thing. I think now what it comes down to is how you feel about it, how comfortable you feel with filming someone without them knowing. Because obviously you wear a little lapel microphone and you have a camera person standing a little bit away from the conversation, and this could look a little bit sneaky. Sometimes people can notice that someone's filming and they might get a little bit more reserved, because when doing outreach, you want to have the most authentic space, a safe environment for communicating with people. Sometimes when a camera is being pointed at them, people take notice and people are a little bit more reserved and their guard goes up. So I don't recommend telling someone they're being filmed in the beginning. But what you could do is 2 things. You could film the conversation like I just said and not let them know and put it up on YouTube if you're okay with that. Or you can film the conversation with someone far away and you mic'd up, and then at the end of the conversation, if the conversation went well, you could say, hey, I really appreciate your time. I had someone who was filming a lot of the conversations here and this one might have been recorded. Would you be okay if I put it up on my YouTube channel? I think there's a lot of valuable content that could be provided to the world, and give them all the information that they need and get that verbal acceptance from them. If that's what makes you feel more comfortable, totally recommend doing that, because I did that actually for the latest video I put up and she was totally game and wanted me to send her the video. So it's something that you can do, but know the laws, I guess. Look into your city. I think most places around the world, if it's in a public area, it is completely legal. And this leads me into something really important, or something that I feel is really important, is motivating all of you to get out there and start filming more. The power of a video online sharing knowledge of an outreach conversation, as you can see with some of James and Joey and Ed's conversations that are on YouTube, they can change lives. You have one conversation and impact that one person. You film it and get a good recording and put it up online. Now that conversation can impact thousands, sometimes hundreds and thousands, and even millions of people. So get out there, do it. Go with a friend, get an iPhone, get a little lapel microphone, use your phone to record. It's super inexpensive to just get one of these little microphones, plug it into your phone, get someone to film you, and record your outreach conversations. Put it up online. If one person sees it or 100,000 people see it, it doesn't matter. What matters is you are getting out there, you are recording these conversations, you are speaking the truth, and you are helping more people hear it. And that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, make sure to leave those in the comments section below. My goal is to make more of these Q&A videos. So if you loved this, if you found some value in this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave some love in the comments and let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, like I said, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date with all of my future videos. Starting this week, I will be posting 2 videos every Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm really excited to bring you more valuable content. Thank you so much again. I appreciate all of your love and support. All the details are in the description below for my social media. But for now, much love from Melbourne. And if you haven't already, make sure to choose compassion. Peace.